Alright guys, so we got the new wheels and tires fitted on the car, but you know, as soon as I put them on there I realized I needed spacers, mainly in the rear. Now what this means is, yes, I didn't get the correct offset, but honestly it was pretty tough for me to figure out what the right offset would be, and I wanted a square setup so that I could rotate the tires on track days or even for video shoots, so I'm not just burning out the rear tires and having to switch those all the time. So I wanted a square setup, same size wheel and tire, front and rear. So I went with an ET35. Now technically I think that was right on for the front, but I want to push it out just a little bit maybe to get a nice fitment. And the spacers will allow me to change it. So if I see that it does rub a little bit or it's not ideal, I can pull the spacer off. So I think ET35 is right. But the whole reason it's wide in the rear is these were made for staggered wheels. Plus, I just remembered that the rear fender of this car, the previous owner had the rear fenders flared 10 millimeters or rolled or whatever. So that's kind of why I need a little bit more spacer in the back anyway. So let's take a look at what I got going on and see how to fix it. Alright, so you can see the front isn't too bad really. I mean, it's a little too far in, maybe 5 millimeters, so I want to correct it, but it's not horrible. I could live with the front, but the rear is dismal, atrocious, heinous, ugly. The rear sucks. Take a look. Look at that, hidden under there. That's not good at all, right? Ugh. Ugh. Horrible. So we're gonna fix that with some spacers, and to do that today I got a spacer fitment kit. It's like a rental, and it's got a variety of spacer sizes that we can stack and try out so that we can see what the right size spacers are. So let's get to it. Oh, and I got a jack, a nice 3-ton floor jack, so now I can do just a little bit more in the garage by myself. So first we'll be using this wheel spacer fitment kit. So this kit has everything that we need to figure out what size spacers to get. We've got 10 millimeter spacers, a 1 millimeter, 15 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter, and 5 millimeter, along with different size studs, and lug nuts, so we can test it. I mean, I really don't lose any money, just time. So that's what I did. Let's put some spacers on here and see what we've got. So the way these work is that it actually uses only 3 of the studs to line up with the holes. These are not meant to drive on. It's basically only meant to fit, to try to find your size. We're going to remove these 2 studs. Now, so that's a 15 millimeter spacer. I already know I'm going to need around 25 millimeters at least, and 25 millimeters means that I'll need longer studs. Thankfully, the kit includes longer studs. So let's take the 3 of these out. And we're going to put in the 3 longer studs from the kit. Now I'm not worried about torquing these down because I'm not driving on it. I just want them tight enough so that they hold the wheel. We'll put our 15 mil. And a 10. And let's put the wheel on. Alright, same thing goes in the front. We're going to remove 2 of the studs. And we're going to put on a 5mm spacer. Because I think that's all I need. So again, we're not torquing everything down to spec because we're not driving on the car. It is purely for fitment. So let's lower the car and see what it looks like. Alright, so this is 5mm on the front and this is 25 on the rear. Alright, I'm really liking the way this looks. 7.5 in the front and 27.5 in the rear. So I think what I'm going to do in the rear is order a 25 and stack a 2.5. It's not ideal to stack spacers, but you're talking about 2.5mm. It's not going to make a difference. And it'll give me the option to remove it if I need to. 30 is just too much. So you can see with this kit, it's just a lot of trial and error. That's the whole point of the fitment kit. You can put the wheels on and off and test different spacers until you find the right fit for you. So I think that spacer rental was worth it. It was nice to be able to just fit all the different spacers to try to dial in the right spacer, the right space, the right fitment. So it was nice to be able to just stack those, play with some things so I could figure out exactly what size spacer I needed. So I do recommend that if you're trying to figure out what size spacers you need. So now we're going to take these off the car and return them and get the right spacers ordered up and get them on the car.